That's what's wrong with me.
Yeah, you better check yourself. You ain't in the prison yard no more, boy.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
College boy, shut up with that. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't know what you're talking
You don't know what
about.
you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking
You
about.
don't know nothing about
Ball up top. Ball up top.
Yeah, ball up top. I got my integrity though, boy.
Don't
You
drop
ain't
the
nothing
soap.
like you used to be though.
Don't drop the
I
soap.
see how you are.
Yeah, all right, whatever.
I see how you are. You not from the hood no more,
you go.
huh?
I'm from-
You ain't from the hood.
Oh, I know where I'm from.
You ain't from the
I
hood
know where
no
I'm from.
more.
I know where
You
I'm
acting
at.
like
Yeah,
you're not
that's
from the
right.
hood.
Whatever.
You Starbucks soldier.
Don't drop the soap.
Starbucks security. Get out of here with this bull.
So the Pookie and Ray Ray dialogue is back again on YouTube. For me, it seems to be largely in response to the attention that deceased rapper, former, gang member, allegedly, Nipsey Hussle, and how he's getting all this admiration and praise and whatnot. And part of me, I think, okay, some of that is because of celebrity. Some of that is because I can understand other hip hop people paying homage and doing all that because that's one of their coworkers, that's one of their peers. I think it's over-exaggerated, in my opinion, it is. But what I saw from regular people, who most of them didn't know anything about his music, it confirmed what I already thought for a while now, is that the black community prefers, has more empathy or sympathy for the Pookie and Ray Ray than they do the blue-collar black male or the educated lane. They got a lot of expectations of the blue-collar brothers. They want them to go home, marry all the single mothers, and the educated lanes, they want them to come back with the resources and fix all the stuff. Very little investment in those men, but a lot of expectations of those men, though, right? You've had this man sending me messages right now. God damn it! You've had several females and some who I'm still shocked and surprised is a female. I heard G. Larry talked about what happened with Mr. Him, Her, Cynthia G, and what she did with O'Shea, and how she was pretty much caping for the Pookies and Ray Rays and shitting on the educated lames. And you've had even colorist chicks online say, well, I'm attracted to this Pookie and Ray Ray, and because I watched DMX growing up, and I watched Belly, and that was promoted to me, and that's what I like. Which I have no problem with. That's what you like. I'm good. I'm cool. I never understood the argument. This motherfucker still sending messages. I never understood the argument that dudes is upset and jealous over the chicks that was getting ran through by these dudes. I never thought that way in my life. To me, it's like, if you like that type of guy and I'm not about that life, I don't see how you could be attracted to me, right? To me, more often than not, I would like fall away from chicks like that. You know what I mean? Like I always thought something was wrong with her. But in this video, we're going to talk about the Pookie and Ray Ray situation. We're going to revisit it from the standpoint of the TV show Power with Ghost and I forgot his name, Terry Silver on the show was his name, dude from Little Rascals. And how that show, I tried to punt that off because I didn't want to talk about that. I tried to punt it off to, who was it? Igmore, because he was doing reviews of Issa Rae show and all that. But no one really took it, debate, and talked about it. So I'm going to use that as an example to illustrate how life imitates art and vice versa. But on that show is a clear example of what we're talking about here. And I'm not talking about the show, actually. I'm talking about the responses from the show. But anyways, it's similar to the whole situation with Jason Lyrics, too, how you got the, as I was saying, there's all this expectations from the brothers who aren't terrorizing the communities, but for fixing and rebuilding, yet women admit that they prefer other type of men, which is, again, I don't care. I don't care when he cheats on you. I don't care when he abandons your children. I don't care when he beats your ass. Like, if that's what you like, that's what you like. I'm good. I wish black women would give black men that same luxury. Nevertheless. But yeah, Sarge mentioned this too, and I've noticed this in real life. Like, how many times in the black community has, the brother who is like Tretch in the video, getting all types of consideration and love and nurturing and second, third, fourth, fifth chances. How many times is a brother like the dude you see in the picture in front of you, got arrested on some shit that he really did, and you watch the whole family come together, rob Peter to pay Paul, to somehow get the bail for his bond for 20,000. They selling dinners. They canceling Christmas. They canceling trips. They calling family members out of town talking about, yo, can you give us this and we'll give it back to you in cash right away, but we have to have another form of income. They find a ways to get that money. But when it comes to the blue collar brother, the everyday brother, where you at? The who just might need a little push, right? He just need a little push, not that much, just a little push, and he's a brother that would come back and help. He's a brother that would donate back to the little boys and girls club, whatever that kept him after school to keep him out of trouble. But we don't invest in those dudes. And then when those dudes go off and leave, we feel some type of way, saying they sellouts and this and that and something wrong with them. But you have to put in what you want to get out. And after watching Nipsey Hussle, I'm like, well, that makes sense. It makes sense that someone of that ilk has to go back to the hood and deal with that because he's the only one that can operate in that space. The educated lame can't go on Crenshaw and do what Nipsey did without having some type of connections. So without his stores getting robbed and messed with. Neither could the blue collar brother, right? So it makes sense. Maybe that's who y'all really want to fix and shape the community. Again, you had the one colorist chick said if it didn't work out, the who she was with at the time, she was like, I'm gonna get in maybe with a foreign Pookie and Ray Ray because that was promoted to me and that's what I like. And I'm like, cool, that's good. You make all kinds of complaints about the non-Pookies and Ray Rays. Even in the video said, and that's why we give them the pussy. Those were her words. Now, if you giving it to him, to me, it's wash and it's trash and I don't want it. But those were her words. And she was talking to another YouTuber in particular when she said that. But, again, we, in my opinion, have more, I don't know if it's just like the underdog story or what it is, but brothers who do what Nipsey did, lame or blue collar, they don't get that love and respect that they got for that. And I recognize that our community simply just prefers those men over the ones who are not like that or about that life. It just seems that way. And we're going to talk some more about that in examining Terry Silver and Ghost's character from Power. So, basically you have Ghost, the light-skinned short motherfucker with the muscles, Omardrick, and Terry, the educated lame. Ghost is the Pookie and the Ray Ray, right? A reform one, though. He wants to reform. And that's one thing that women who are upset about the dynamic of him leaving his dark-skinned Tasha with the fucked up weaves for the little Mexican chick who's supposed to be Puerto Rican, who I don't think she looks good enough to leave your wife for. But, you know, is that he wanted to reform and get out the game, but she doesn't want to. Tasha doesn't want to leave. She loves her Pookie and Ray Ray. She does not want him to reform. So, basically, first scene was Terry telling Ghost, like, yo, I know who you are. I know what you're about. And Ghost is upset. And Terry's like, yo, you got to tell me everything. I'm supposed to defend you. If it's some information you're holding back, I can't use it to stop you, to help your case. But Ghost doesn't trust him for obvious reason because he's an ethical guy. Unlike the other white lawyer, the other dude from Little Rascals, he's all corrupt and all messed up. But Terry's not. So he doesn't tell him all the information, but he has to maneuver and try to get him off regardless. But what I noticed from my Facebook timeline and people conversating about the show, mostly black women, a couple dudes as well, they just didn't like his character. They didn't like him at all. They thought he was grimy. They thought he was arrogant. They thought he was stuck up. All those things. And all he did was tell Ghost that you're a piece of shit. You're a murderer, psychopath. You're a criminal. You are fronting like you're reformed or you want to reform, but you don't come from my ilk. And for whatever reason, that turned a lot of black folks off, particularly black women. I don't know why. We know why. And that kind of illustrates the dynamic of how people have more affection, more, how should I say it, sympathy for the educated lame. I mean, the Pookie and Ray Ray for the educated lame. The brother who did it right, went to school, crossed his T's, dotted his I's. That's not honorable. That's not, good. The motherfucker who murdered, killed, sold drugs, did all that trash. But now he wants to open a school or he wants to donate money into the name of the community after he's the one that caused the damage and the drama in the community in the first place. that's more admirable for whatever in our black community. It is what it is. Now the problem that Brother Terry made was, and we'll get into that. The problem that Brother Terry, the educated lane, made was he assumed that Tasha was this damsel in distress, but no, she was a hood booger. And he assumed that, you know how they do those shows where the chick get arrested, like the dude was a kingpin and his girl was like an accountant, and they try to like find ways to sympathize with her story and try to get her out of jail early or something, when she could have been like the mastermind behind the money in the first place. But we give women that pass, you know, for whatever reason. But most men, I would think, assume would not make the mistake that Terry made. They would assume if you're a woman married to a man like that, then some of what's in him has to be in her as well. And that's how I always viewed it. Again, when I would see chicks in my own family or girls who I knew who were about that life, being in that environment where it's dangerous and you could die and your kids are in danger and all that shit, it ain't just turning you on or making your panties wet. Something's got to be in that lifestyle that you are attracted to as well. And that's a turn off to me. So, as again, like, I don't get the whole dudes are jealous of what the Pookies and Ray Rays is doing, running through these chicks. Like, no, I don't want her. She's been attached to you. That's just the way I thought about it. Dan Freeman made an amazing analogy years ago at K Avenue Ranch. He was like, some of these dudes are like dogs who piss on a fire hydrant to mark their territory. And that's what some of these Pookie and Ray Rays do. They let it be known. They put their stamp on it. I remember this one chick who has 2 kids by Pookie and Ray Ray who's locked up doing some time. And she said, these dudes be scared to date me because he's locked up. I'm thinking, no. For one, he marked his territory on you for sure, because you always complaining on Facebook how his family and friends are always checking on you and seeing who you dating and what you're doing and whatnot, despite he's been behind bars for a while, and he gonna be behind them bars for a long time. But she's like, she think the reason why more dudes don't approach her is because they're scared of her baby father who's locked up. And I'm like, nah, they probably just understand that for you to give that man 2 children and have been in that lifestyle, and then you sympathize with how, you know, or you reminisce on the times when he had this and had that for you, when times were good, when you know, when the drug life was right. It reminds me of another situation. This one sister I used to talk to, she was I just met her, right? I was around her family, and her cousin was with a Pookie and a Ray Ray who was locked up as well. They had a kid. The kid was like not even 1. And some other little simp dude stepped up to take his place. And I remember her being like the girl that I was with, being mean to the dude, kind of talking down to him and stuff and whatnot. And it kind of like changed my perception of her, because she made this art comment like how he needed to step his game up and do more. And I'm like, huh? What you mean? Like, she's like, he just nickel and dime and stuff. He needed to go harder. And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, well, her baby daddy's in jail because he got caught being this big time drug dealer in Niagara Falls. And you're telling him he needs to step his game up. And then she started reminiscing on the times when, he used to give her $5,000 to go shopping, and he would give me 2. And this dude, nickel and dime, can't do that. But it made me like, damn, like, you really, so this is what you're encouraging her to do? You're like saying, not he should, you know, go to school and get a job, get an education, and, you know, and provide for your little cousin kid. But you're saying he needs to go harder in the streets. Like, oh, and this girl wasn't on some Pookie and Ray Ray stuff either. Like, she wasn't into dudes like that. I met one of her exes, but it blew my mind a little bit that she thought in those terms. But again, going back to the other chick, she would say those things, and again, she assumed that people weren't hollering at her because she thought they were scared of her baby dad. And like, no, dudes probably just know that, you know, he marked his territory on you, and you were in that life. So there's something about that life that you're attracted to, and men who are not about that life most likely understand that. But that was the mistake that Terry made on the show. Terry assumed that she was some damsel in distress and that she was just manipulated by her husband, when in fact, in reality, she's the one that wanted to stay in the hood and stay being kingpins and drug dealers, whereas Ghost wanted to get out the game, and he did want to reform. And that's, you know, in essence, you know, one thing that I know, a character like Ghost, even though he's short and light-skinned, but usually those characters are more fitted for, you know, dark-skinned, tall, hyper-masculine brother. You know, like even Idris Elba's character from Stringer Bell. That's the one thing that I think can't get some of these chicks who are attracted to that more wet is than, you know, this educated dude with some street acumen, the whole so-called business gentleman slash gangster stuff that doesn't exist. Like, that's all you gotta do. Like, if black men want promotion, all they have to do is make characters like that, or Stringer Bell, Ghost, and they will love that show. They'll support that show. That's just their thing. I was talking about that too, like watching the last episode of the last Purge movie, right? And I'm thinking about the movie, and I'm thinking about, okay, cool. But even in that movie, they made a Pookie and Ray Ray the hero of the movie. The dude Daniel from Insecure. Like, he was a drug dealer, terrorizing, fucking up the community, the whole movie. But during the Purge, somehow he became the hero because half his crew got taken out by these white people, white supremacists. But even in that movie, the Pookie and the Ray Ray was a fucking hero. Didn't understand that shit. But that's just my thoughts. You see it in our films and our art and whatnot. You hear it in some of these female songs. Sierra's song, Just Can't Leave Him Alone. Mary J. Blige, damn near 50, talking about good boys are no good. Bad boys are no good. Good boys are no, whatever she said. She too old to be saying what she said anyways. Jasmine Sullivan, I'm in love with another man. I got a good dude. He treat me right, but I'm still stuck on this asshole who beat my ass. That permeates our culture. So I wish people stop saying that dudes are jealous of the women, the men who get those women, because I've never thought in those terms. I've always felt like women who are attracted to that, is something wrong with their ass. I've never wanted that. I don't want to go behind that. You know what I mean? That's a different conversation, though. People, that's judgmental. I'm like, yeah, you can be judged by who you've messed with and who you choose to create children by. And I didn't listen to the Cynthia G stuff that she did with O'Shea and the other women, because we already know what they're saying. But y'all really not helping your cases online if y'all really making arguments for the Pookies and the Ray Rays to as if there's some type of upstanding citizen. I already assumed and had the mindset that that's just how our community is. We prefer that story over the story of triumph and doing it the right way. We prefer the drama and the ratchetness, or so it seems. We see it in our artwork, we see it in our music, our TV shows. I'm sure you read some of them nasty ass Zane books. That stuff is all up in there too, right? It ain't coming out of nowhere, right? It's a real thing. But that was just my quick thoughts on the situation. Like, I do believe the black community does have more empathy and sympathizes more with the Pookie and Ray Ray, the so-called reform one, than they do with the educated lame or the blue-collar brother. Again, they have a lot of expectations of them, always crying and complaining when those people move off and leave the hood and marry non-black and whatever, but don't have much to invest in them at all. And then it's like, yeah, I understood respecting Nipsey Hussle's death because he was dead. But at the same time, it's like, damn, all this, and this dude was a rolling crip. Like, he even speaks in some videos about when he was going on setting on somebody, meaning other gang members and whatnot. We don't know if, because you know a lot of these motherfuckers can't shoot. So we look at the casualties that happen around these situations and the innocent people that get hurt. Huh? I mean, yeah, you're not supposed to talk bad about people's stuff, but I believe in keeping the energy the same. If we're going to talk about the good things, talk about the bad things too. And it seems like in this space, in this time right now, you can't do that. And I'm like, wait a minute. He did a lot of dirt too. There's a lot of other people out there probably happy of his demise because they remember when he was on the block. They remember when he was terrorizing that community. They remember when he was selling the stuff that was hurting their family members. So their view is way different than all the celebration we're seeing in the mainstream media. But he's gone. This shit was funny too when the one colorist chick was trying to attack black men because they weren't going in on him because he was dead. Like, Brothers was online was giving the man respect for being dead and like, yo, we're not gonna talk shit about him. Yeah, if he was alive, we would call him a Pookie and Ray Ray, but he's gone. So even in that, the ironic thing is she was mad that they didn't go at him, despite her saying that's what she preferred and she want to be with. I ain't get that shit. That's in my video. Tell me what you think. Since all this Pookie and Ray Ray stuff is coming back online again, it won't go away, it won't die out. So yeah, I'm gonna link a couple videos probably in this comment section. Look out for that. I think I did a video. No difference between a D-boy and a educated lame. Some colorist chick was talking about that, crying about that a couple years ago. I did a video, No Love for the On Point Black Men. I'll link that as well. I might link the Stars clip because I tried to put it in this video, but I couldn't do it. Stars was cock blocking. But basically, it's a synopsis of what I went over with Ghost and Terry Silva. But you can see the visuals of it if you didn't watch the show. But even in the comment section, you see a lot of black folks, in particular black women, you know, just not trusting Terry, feeling some type of way about his character, despite him doing absolutely nothing wrong other than being a simp. Because he assumed that Tasha was not, you know, she was this damsel in distress and she was just manipulated by her husband. But again, no, she was just a hood booger who was about that life. And to me, that's how I always view women who are attracted to men like that. Like, to me, that's who you are in. If you're into that, you into that. Like, ain't no trying to convert you or save you or none of that. Like, I'm good. But I remember a couple chicks on Facebook were saying things, because there were a lot of memes around his character, and for whatever reason, I can't find any of them now, but there's like one that had like a picture of him and Ghost, and one said like Ralph Lauren and Polo, some stuff like that. I wanted to find out when I looked at the caption of this video. But this one chick gonna say, what did she say? She says, watch out for the good ones, with air quotes, because she's like, he did Tasha dirty or whatever. No, he didn't do Tasha dirty. He looked out for his career. This chick wanted him to lie, risk his future and his job over a woman who at some point understood that she was just using him to get her family off. But people overlooked all that and just thought he was supposed to risk it all for her, like the simp he was, and he ended up having a demise because of his simpness. But I don't know. It's just this season, that last season, kind of confirmed my epiphany of how the black community does have more empathy or, you know, respect or admiration for the reformed Pookie and Ray Ray than they do the actual black men who, you know, ain't about that life, and they go about it a different way and they come to their success. You know, that's just the way it is in our community. And no show other than that. Then you have kind of the similar thing with Jason Lyrics, and how, again, you had a brother who was on point, who was trying to help his community, who, you know, needed just a push, right? But no, everybody else wants to invest and think about and take care of, and he can't go off and do his thing and live his life because he has to sit there and console his mama because, you know, the Pookie in the family is always messing something up and stressing her out, so he's got to be there to pick up the pieces. And then when he finally tries to get out and says, freak it, I'm out of here, I'm gonna go do my own thing, the Pookie comes in and there's a demise. You know, as you saw Jason Lyrics, what happened to Jada at the end of the movie. But that's just my quick video. Man,